When inner and outer life align, now there is something that happened to a lot of retirees, and it usually doesn't get talked about much at all. And I've spoke about this and I've touched on it. Now, retirees spend 40 years working, providing, building, showing up whether they felt like it or not. Then one day the schedule just slows down. The alarm clock, as we've discussed before, it's just no more. The deadlines are fewer, and at first that sounds like, oh wow, wonderful freedom, but after a while some people feel a strange kind of drift. You're not lost exactly, you're just not sure what direction you're pointed at anymore. Now this is a very important topic, and I keep wanting to touch on this with you, but we need to get it down. We need to examine this. The outer life is change that you have. The inner life has not caught up with this. I have sat in parking lots and talked with men who told me they felt restless. I've spoken with women who said they stayed busy all their lives and now feel unsettled when things are all of a sudden quiet. The world says retirement is about ease and leisure. But if your inner life is not steady, all that extra time can feel heavy instead of peaceful inside. That is what we are talking about today. When inner and outer life align. Now, again, we refer back to the 19th century. Men like Henry David Thoreau did not just go to the woods to escape the work. He went to see whether his outer life matched what he believed inside. He wanted simplicity on the outside because he valued clarity on the inside. That's a very important note. Take note of that. The alignment mattered to him when the inside and outside do not match. The body feels it. The mind feels it. You may not call it stress. You may just call it tiredness or irritability. But something feels off. You cannot live rushed inside and peaceful outside. One of them will win the war. And this campaign goes on inside our bodies. And this is where many retirees quietly, they struggle. They finally have the time to rest, but they never trained their inner world to rest. They have the hours to sleep, but the mind is still in work mode, in loops. The body is still in survival mode. Alignment starts simple. It starts with attention. Ask yourself this: does my daily rhythm match the kind of life I say I want? If I say I want steadiness, does my body get steady sleep? If I say I want health, does my body, does my water carry the minerals, or am I flushing myself empty with a cup after a cup of coffee and filtered water that has no life left in it at all, no electrolytes? I say I want peace. Do I spend hours scrolling and stirring up worry, doom scrolling? You don't need a complex system. You need honesty with yourself. Older generations understood something about rhythm. Farmers rose, we've talked about this before, farmers rose with the sun. They worked, they ate real food. They rested when it grew dark. They didn't call it optimization. They called it living in season. Your body still understands seasons. Sleep is not laziness, as the world may want you to think. Sleep is repair. When the inner and outer life align, you allow the body to sleep deeply at night and wake with purpose in the morning. You step into sunlight. You drink clean water, maybe with a pinch of electrolytes, for sure. No maybe about it. You need to study about those. And we'll talk further about that, how important. That's a foundation. Not to chase a trend, but to respect that your heart beats because minerals move electricity through you. Magnesium calms, potassium stabilizes, copper supports balance over time. These are not fads. These are foundational truths. And the body keeps record over decades and decades. If the inner life says, I want steadiness, but the outer habits drain what steadiness requires, the two will fight. Alignment is not perfection, it is direction. There is also the spiritual side, and I want to speak plainly, very plainly here. Faith, when healthy, does not make a man frantic. It steadies him, and it steadies he or she. It reminds people, he is not in charge of everything, but is responsible for some things. When inner belief and outer behavior match, a quiet strength shows up. You don't need to preach to yourself. You don't need any of that. You do not need to argue. You just live in proportion. That is another word older thinkers, they just simply valued, was proportion. Work in proportion, rest in proportion, eat in proportion, speak in proportion. Many retirees overcorrect. Some swing into inactivity, others swing into consistent busyness. Just to avoid stillness, jump into a party, jump in here. Neither is alignment. Alignment is measured. It is steady. You are in the second act. Remember, this is a career change. You're in the second act of your life, not the decline. The world may treat you like you're finished, but that is not true. You carry memory, you carry the skills, experience, you carry pattern recognition that younger people don't have this yet. But you can only mentor well if your inner life is calm enough to guide someone else. If your outer life says you're retired, but your inner life is still angry, rushed, or fearful, you won't feel settled. If your outer life looks peaceful, but your body is inflamed from poor rest, low minerals, too much sugar, too many carbs, no sunlight, and that mismatch, that skew will show up too. So what do we do about all this? We simplify. Start with one rhythm, one thing. Wake at roughly the same time. Step outside and get some sunlight. Get it on your face for a little bit. Drink water that nourishes instead of strips you down. Make sure it has the constant electrolytes. Eat food that looks like food. Allow yourself to fast occasionally. Not as punishment, but as a reset. Let the body remember what hunger and fullness feel like. Then manage your thoughts like you would manage a project. If you were supervising a job, you would not let chaos run unchecked. And that's with your body. Now, why let it run unchecked in your own mind, in your own spirit? Notice when you drift into resentment or worry, gently redirect yourself. Not with force, with discipline. Discipline produces freedom because it removes contradiction. When inner values and outer habits agree, the nervous system settles down. Sleep improves, mood steadies, you feel useful again. Not because someone handed you a title, but because your life has structure that matches your belief. And that alignment is so visible. Your grandchildren can see it, your neighbors can feel it, you become the steady one in the room. That does not mean you will not have hard and difficult days. Bodies do age, energy shifts, but alignment reduces unnecessary suffering. It keeps small problems from becoming large and blowed out. You're not trying to impress anyone with this. You're just trying to live honestly, objectively. When the inner and outer life align, there is less pretending, less scrambling, less hidden conflict. You become simpler, and simpler is stronger than complicated. You have the time now to do this, to make this correction. Use it wisely. Be the project manager of your own body. Steward your minerals, guard your sleep, walk in the sun. Fast when it's appropriate for you. Pray without panic. Think clearly, speak calmly. Let your outer life reflect the quiet order you are building inside. And remember, you are needed. You're needed in society. You're needed in this whole culture. A culture that forgets its elders, forgets its memory. But an elder who forgets to care for his own alignment loses his clarity. So we work on this patiently, one day at a time, one habit at a time, one adjustment at a time. No big drama, no rush, just steady alignment. Now, I don't have all this figured out. I'm still working on it myself. So let's keep moving forward on this journey together. And thanks for watching. I appreciate you.